All right, are you ready to grab some more listings? Let's go ahead and dive right in. I gave you a tip, and I just want to kind of go through that again. Look, if you've got a buyer and you've been searching in the MLS and you just cannot find that perfect property, as I've mentioned, go pull the list of homeowners in that neighborhood and send them all a message. Let them know that you have a buyer and ask them, hey, I've got a qualified buyer that has narrowed down their search to this neighborhood. There's nothing else on the market, and I'm just kind of curious if you put any thought to selling. Look, it puts you in a position of an authority with the homeowners in that neighborhood because it's like, oh, wow, this guy's leading with the buyers versus just leading with trying to get a listing. That in itself will make a big difference in how they see you as a professional real estate agent. At the same token, if you do land a listing, you got an opportunity to work both sides, both the buyer and the seller. We know double dips pay very well. So that is one strategy. The second thing I wanted to mention to you, because it's something that is so often overlooked, and that is many buyers are sellers. So when you get a new buyer lead and you build a little rapport, at some point you need to ask that buyer, hey, I'm kind of curious. Will you need to sell something before you make your next purchase? They will answer that. They're either going to say, no, we're just going to rent our home, or no, we're just renting right now. Or they're going to say, yes, but the house that we're going to move from is in Texas, a different state. And we'll be selling that at some point. So in this particular case, either you're going to identify they're a renter, no problem, or you're going to identify that they are going to keep their home and rent it, no problem. Maybe you can refer them to a rental company just as a resource, or they are somebody that's going to need to sell their property in town. Start talking to them about that. Set a time to go take a look at that property. And of course, maybe they're selling something from out of town, which gives you an opportunity to place a referral. Maybe you don't get a full commission, but you can get a referral commission. And those are all opportunities that can pay you well. Okay. The last one, but not least, of course, is to make sure that you're working your company generated seller leads. Now, not all companies do this, but I know we do. There's a few other companies that do. Hopefully your company's doing it. If they do, you need to figure out what is it going to take for you to get on the team that can work company generated seller leads. That's totally different than company generated buyer leads. Seller leads can be generated online just like buyer leads. A lot of companies are not doing it, but those that are, it's working very well. We get agents that every single week are generating listings because we're really delivering around 400 to 500 seller leads per month to those agents. So they're really working this database, this lead flow. And the key though is this. You don't have to call them all within like 1 minute and blow them up because they're not in a rush like the buyers. It's not a race, but you do want to call them within the first day. That's going to be key. You also just want to lead with offering information, offering value. You don't just start with, hey, Greg, I heard you want to sell. No, that script doesn't work. You want to go in and ease into that conversation, offer them some information like, hey, I was doing some research. I'd like to share this research with you in case it'd be helpful. And could I ask you a few questions about your home? What kind of condition is it in? That's how you approach these leads. Build that rapport. Eventually on the call, you'll identify their motivation and their time frame. And when you identify their time frame, either go ahead and set the appointment now if it's near, or go ahead and put them in the proper place within your database. Schedule an appointment for you to call them back. A reminder for you to call them back. And the key is, call them every 30 days. Because even the ones that say, gosh, I'm not really thinking about doing anything right now, I was just kind of curious. They're a little bit more than curious, but they're not going to tell you that. Call them every 30 days. If you don't, within the next 6 months, you're going to see them come on the market and be disappointed that you lost the opportunity. Look, those are just 3 ways that you can generate listings. I teach agents many different ways to generate listings. Some people are like active prospectors and want to learn force of owners and expireds and rent bows, old expireds. Some people are a little bit more passive when it comes to their approach. They want to do direct mail. They want to build database to get come list me calls. And then there's those blended agents that that like to work like online seller leads, or just take sellers that are buyer leads but actually list those properties. No matter what your mentality is, no matter what you prefer, I've got some guidance, some coaching blueprints that can help you out. If I can ever help you, I'd love to sit down and talk with you and talk to you about building a nice business plan for the upcoming year and helping you grow your business. I'm Greg Harrelson. You take care. Bye-bye.